Hi everyone. So, is there any evidence for the existence of God? Is belief in a creator rational and does it have any conflict with science? Do you have to discard your brain when discussing creation? And is the belief in God illogical? No, it's absolutely not. In fact, it's the opposite. To believe there is no creator or God is more illogical and requires more faith, as you will see in this video. Some people believe God is unscientific and it's all about blind faith, when that is absolutely not true. We live in a day and age where the youth are not being shown any creation science, and there is really no reason to not believe in a creator. Most times when I discuss this with someone, it almost always comes down to the person not wanting there to be a creator, because there is no scientific reason to reject God. As a famous scientist Louis Pasteur said, and I quote, "The more I study nature, the more I stand amazed at the work of the creator." Unquote. In this video I will show you 5 scientific reasons to believe in God. There are more reasons than 5, and I hope this will provoke you to do more research for yourself. So let's get right to it. Number 5. Cause and effect. The most certain and universal of all scientific principles is that of causality, or the law of cause and effect. The implications of this principle has been fought in the theological and philosophical disciplines, but there is no question of its universal acceptance in the world of experimental science as well as in ordinary experiences. Every single effect first had a cause that can be traced to a previous effect from another cause, and so on. But where did it begin? Eventually we have to face the question of the original cause, an uncaused first cause. We know the universe is not eternal and it had a beginning. Our reality exists out of matter, energy, time and space. Then the first cause has to exist above and beyond those things, which means the first cause has to be eternal, omnipresent, omnipotent and immaterial, which is actually the very traits of God in the Bible. Atheists try to answer this with the first cause being the Big Bang, but of course the Big Bang also needs an uncaused first cause, which they cannot answer, leaving the alternative to nothing caused the first cause, which is illogical and ridiculous. It requires more faith to believe this existence came from nothing with no intelligence, rather than believing there's an all-intelligent creator that created this existence. It's like two characters in a software program arguing if man exists, and if man can exist beyond the software code and 2D parameters, believing that all the software code they exist in and all the information is all that there is, and ultimately burst together out of nothing, not realizing there is a human in the third dimension that created and caused their world, which they cannot even fathom. So too is it the same when two people argue if God exists, and that God could exist above and beyond all matter, time and space, which is the parameters of the third dimension we live in. That's why we cannot comprehend infinity and the traits of God, not with our limited 3D brains. But surely the fact that we can't comprehend it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Number 4. Finely tuned universe. Fine-tuning refers to the surprising precision of nature's physical constants and the beginning state of the universe. To explain the present state of the universe, even the best scientific theories require that the physical constants of nature and the state of the universe have extremely precise values. Such examples are: the electromagnetic coupling constant binds electrons to protons in atoms. If it was smaller, fewer electrons could be held. If it was larger, electrons would be held too tightly to bond with other atoms. Carbon and oxygen nuclei have finely tuned energy levels. Electromagnetic and gravitational forces are extremely finely tuned, so the right kind of star can be stable. Our sun is the right color. If it was redder or bluer, photosynthetic response would be weaker. Our sun is also the right mass. If it was larger, its brightness would change too quickly and there would be too much high energy radiation. If it was smaller, the range of planetary distances able to support life would be too narrow The right distance would be so close to the star that tidal forces would disrupt the planet's rotational period. UV radiation would also be inadequate for photosynthesis. The Earth's distance from the Sun is crucial for a stable water cycle. If it was too far and most water would freeze, too close and most water would boil. The Earth's gravity, axial tilt, rotation period, magnetic field, crust thickness, oxygen-nitrogen ratio, carbon dioxide, water vapor, and ozone levels are all just right for us to exist. Number 3. The probability of life. Scientists have done a study where they have determined the possibility of a single protein in your cell to form by chance. Even the simplest replicating protein molecule that could be imagined as shown by Galilei to have a probability of 1 in 10 to the power 450. That is a 1 in 1 followed by 450 zeros chance. Salisbury calculated the probability of a typical DNA chain to be 1 in 10 to the power 600. The greatest number of events that could ever occur in the universe or trials that could ever be made throughout its entire history is only 10 to the power 110. A number higher than that becomes mathematically zero chance of occurring. So, even the chance for a single protein to form is zero. A system requiring such a high degree of order could never happen by chance. It's like guessing a 3300 pin code correctly. I don't need to say any more. Number 2. Information and design. If you walked through a desert and saw a glass laying on the ground, would you come to the conclusion that that glass was designed and made? Or would you conclude the sand, heat, and wind formed that glass over many years? No, you would know that the glass was designed even if you meet the designer or not. And if you walked through the woods and saw a wooden house, would you conclude wind, wood, and erosion created that house? No, you would know that someone built that house and designed it, even if you meet the designer or not. The design is proof of a designer. So also is the creation proof of a creator. You can see the design in the universe even on the micro level. If I told you that the dictionary was formed by an explosion in a print shop and no one actually wrote or typed it, you would not believe me. The reason is because it's not just random words in a book, but orderly placement of those words to form sentences and paragraphs, resulting in information behind those words that originates from intelligence. Now, the DNA in your body consists of so much more information that if you were to type it out into average sized books, it would fill the Grand Canyon multiple times. Yet, some atheists will believe that a book cannot form by itself, but somehow far more complex information in life did. I don't buy it. And number 1. Absolute truth and morality. Atheists believe humans were made from nothing more than chemicals resulting in mutations over millions of years, and claim there are no absolutes, while that in itself is an absolute statement, refuting itself. There really are absolutes, but if we are nothing more but chemicals without a conscience, then how can you trust your conclusions that you came to? How can you trust your brain, and how can logic exist? Yet we know logic do exist. Absolute truth stems from a truth giver, which is God. The world is not just material, but there are many immaterial things we experience, such as love, envy, jealousy, etc. We also have absolute morals that we live by. For instance, we know to murder an innocent is wrong, and in 1,000 years it would still be wrong. We have that sense of right and wrong that we receive from our lawgiver, which is God. But if atheism is true, then how can you tell right from wrong? And how did you decide? If the majority said rape is fine, does it make it then fine? Or if your president said theft is fine, and does it make it then fine? No, you internally know there is an absolute standard. That is from God. Now, I'm not saying that atheists are immoral people. Some are very good people. The thing is, if your worldview is correct, there is ultimately no right and wrong, and that leads to a dangerous philosophy. Think about it. If there is no God, then all that we do will not matter eventually, for everything will fade into nothingness forever. I don't know how people can stay sane believing that. C.S. Lewis said, and I quote, "Atheism turns out to be too simple. If the whole universe has no meaning, we should never have found out that it has no meaning." Unquote. Yet the truth is there is an existence after this life, where we will be judged one day by God. So become right with God, because it doesn't matter how long you lived, you will be dead for longer than that. Make sure you're prepared. Jesus is willing to save you if you would call on Him. That's the 5 reasons I find compelling to believe in God. I hope this provoked my thought to do more research, especially if you don't know a lot about the creation alternative. Thank you for watching. I will leave you with Romans 1:20 in the Bible. Have a blessed day, and remember, the truth will set you free, and there is only true freedom in God.